This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you. I'm Rebecca Smith. Hope your Tuesday's off to a great start.
And I'm Bill Bryant, and it is so good to have you with us on WKYT This Morning.
Now at 6 a.m., the latest from Paris, where Secretary John Kerry is meeting with France's president amid an international manhunt.
Also on WKYT, some local reaction to the debate on Syrian refugees being relocated to the United States.
And could the Bengals go 9-0? We've got the highlights from Cincinnati.
We have a little rain outside this morning. This is going to be the bulk of the rain throughout your day. Once this moves on out, then we look pretty dry toward the afternoon. But it's just very light rain, even some sprinkles. Temperatures there in the 50s. We finish off there in the 60s. That morning rain chance, guys, it really picks up tomorrow. I'll show you when it starts to move on in coming up.
And we'll see you shortly. Let's get to the news.
Well, Secretary of State John Kerry just wrapped up a meeting with French President Francois Hollande today following the terror attacks in Paris.
Kerry's visit comes amid an ongoing international manhunt for suspects connected to the violence that killed more than 130 people. Jonathan Vigliotti has the latest from Paris.
In a show of solidarity, Secretary of State John Kerry met with French President Francois Hollande in Paris this morning. The U.S. pledged to stand by France as the country grieves for dozens of people killed in last week's terror attacks.
We're absolutely committed to increasing our efforts in every degree possible, and thoughtfully, carefully.
Kerry's visit comes as France intensified attacks against ISIS militants responsible for the carnage. Overnight, the French military reportedly dropped more than a dozen bombs on the group in Syria, destroying a command and training center in the city of Raqqa. France has urged the U.S. to join an international coalition along with Russia against ISIS, despite Russia's loyalty to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad.
I just believe that it would be exceptionally difficult to convince the Russians to abandon Assad, and I think it would be even harder to convince the Assad government and the moderate opposition to come together.
Authorities across Europe have conducted more than 150 raids as they search for suspects connected to the terror attack. Among them, 26-year-old Salah Abdeslam, who allegedly drove attackers to the Bataclan concert hall. The alleged mastermind behind the operation, Abdelhamid Aboud, is believed to be in Syria. Jonathan Vigliotti, CBS News, Paris.
And French President Francois Hollande is expected to put forward legislation later today to extend a state of emergency in the country that would give law enforcement and the military greater search and arrest powers. Well, the attacks in Paris have led to a partisan and heated issue in this country. A growing number of governors say they do not want to accept any more refugees.
And where does Kentucky stand in all this? Mark Barber has that answer at the live desk with local reaction.
Good morning, Rebecca. This certainly is a contentious issue, and it's one that has sharply divided Governor Steve Beshear and Governor-elect Matt Bevin. Bevin worries that ISIS may be using the Syrian refugee crisis to slip terrorists into the United States. He says he will not allow refugees to settle in Kentucky until he determines that they won't bring any risks to the Commonwealth. That's quite a difference from Governor Beshear's position. He's welcoming Syrian refugees who are fleeing terrorists. Some of those refugees have already made it to central Kentucky. We're told 3 families have already settled here. This morning, more than 20 governors are reviewing their policies on accepting refugees and saying that they won't let them into their states. Beshear says that is not the right decision for Kentucky.
There are thousands of folks, men, women, children, families, who are fleeing persecution. They're just looking for a safe haven. They're as much victims of terrorism as the tragedy in Paris and the folks in Paris that were killed by terrorists.
Beshear tells us as long as he's governor, Kentucky will accept refugees who have been screened and approved by service organizations. Of course, that could change when Bevin takes office 3 weeks from today. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
New on WKYT this morning, a Kentucky state trooper was hurt in an overnight crash with a horse.
This happened in Rockcastle County near Brodhead. WKYT's Mike Byer is live at UK Hospital where that trooper hopefully is recovering, and we're going to join him now live. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. I'm at UK Hospital where a Kentucky state trooper is recovering after he hit a horse early this morning while on duty in Rockcastle County. KSB dispatchers tell us the crash happened around 2 a.m. on Highway 150 near Broadhead. Authorities tell us the horse was standing in the roadway when the trooper hit it. He was then flown to UK Hospital. At this time, the trooper's name and condition have not been released. However, KSB dispatchers tell us the trooper has non-life-threatening injuries and is on the road to recovery. Now we're trying to figure out why the horse was standing in the roadway and who it belongs to. We are told that the horse has died. Meanwhile, Highway 150 near Broadhead, where the crash occurred, has reopened. Live in Lexington, Mike Byer, WKYT.
On to a very tragic story now out of western Kentucky. The mother of a murdered Kentucky girl is talking about the shock of her child's death. Investigators say 7-year-old Gabby Doolin was found murdered Saturday night behind Allen County Scottsville High School. She was there watching her brothers play football when her family says she disappeared.
I never thought anything like this would happen to my baby. Never in a million years. I thought she was safe because every time we had been there, she knew I told her where she could go and where she couldn't go.
I'm gonna miss her. She was always so happy about everything. No matter what was going on, she was always happy.
The little girl's murder is still a mystery this morning. There's no indication police have identified any possible suspects.
Pain for that family, obviously. This morning it is 6:06 and new on WKYT this morning. Lexington police are investigating after a man says he was held up outside of his home. The alleged crime happened just before midnight on Lansdowne Drive. The victim told police that 2 men, one with a rifle, tried to rob him as he was going into his home. Police are not exactly sure what happened after that, but the man was not hurt. This morning, Kentucky Governor Steve Beshear is standing behind his statement that altered marriage licenses issued in Rowan County are indeed valid. According to our news partners at the Herald Leader, lawyers for the governor have told a federal judge while the licenses do not meet the state's legal requirements, they should still be considered valid. Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis removed her name and the county's name from the licenses. The licenses state that they were issued because of a court order. Davis opposes issuing marriage licenses to same-sex couples for religious reasons.
Well, the University of Pikeville is recruiting students for a new optometry program. The university will soon be the home of Kentucky's only optometry school. It's received preliminary approval to start recruiting students. Construction continues on the building that will become the optometry school. Should be complete next month.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
I just stepped outside just to see what was going on, just checking out the radar, and it looked like some very light rain, maybe even some sprinkles. And you know what? I wouldn't even say it's light rain. I mean, this is just sprinkles flying across the region for most. And what we're going to be seeing out of this, once this passes on through, if you look down toward Clinton, Greene County, Cumberland County, those areas down to the far southwestern portion of our area, it shows that kind of void spot right there. And what's happening is this is moving toward the northeast. A lot of this is moving north mainly. And so when this is over with, this green patch that you see here on the screen, when that's over with, well, we're pretty much done with the rain. That is a lighter shower over toward Winchester, just moved through, heading toward Mount Sterling and also to the northern portions of Montgomery County. North Middletown, you're about to get in on the mix here in just about 5 to 10 minutes there in southern portions of Bourbon County. And then you head toward Owingsville and then work your way into the northern portion of Bath County, and we're sitting there. Sharpsburg, you'll be seeing that rain here in just about 20 to 30 minutes. Other than that, all the green that you see there on the screen, yeah, it's just sprinkles. Nothing really going to affect your morning. So kids going off to the bus stop, you heading out to work, you won't really need an umbrella, but just know a couple of sprinkles will be falling overhead. There's the 50s outside, a couple of 40s. It's not all that bad. And then we hit the afternoon at 67. Rain chance during the morning. Once we hit noontime, it starts to really fade away. Then the afternoon looks mainly dry, breezy, but dry. Temperatures right around 67 degrees. So morning rain, afternoon looks all right. Rain for everybody tomorrow. If you're watching this morning, you will see rain tomorrow, mainly just showers. But it's going to be some pretty heavy rain, 1/2 inch to about 1.5 inches of rain expected. And then a pretty interesting weekend, very interesting. Here's what we're going to be looking at for your weekend planner. 43 degrees Saturday. And even Saturday, it could be cold enough during the night that we could see a mix. Yeah, it's possible. Our first wintry mix of the season. Very cold back behind that at 39 degrees there on Sunday. Here is your 7-day forecast and what you can expect. And you can see those temperatures really drop off the map once this front moves on through on Wednesday into Thursday. So Wednesday's your best chance of rain. Once we pass that, Bill, that's when it starts to get pretty chilly, especially sliding off toward the weekend, is it will finally feel like November. I mean, it hasn't really lately. It's been actually pretty nice, but here it goes with that up and down forecast.
Well, as I said, let's get you to thinking about turkey and Christmas shopping, all those things, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, it's going to feel like it now. Our time this morning is 6:10, and each morning right here, we bring you weather and traffic together. Let's go out to Officer Don and see what's happening out there on the roads. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Well, the roads are wet, so obviously we're going to have some issues this morning. We can expect that. First, with the wide view of Lexington on traffic flow. Right now, things are light enough. We're mostly in the green. No major issues that we can see right there just popping up. But there is one problem. There's a crash on South Broadway and Legion. That's an injury collision inbound South Broadway. We have at least one lane blocked there right now. Police are on the scene. Is near the Arby's is where this wreck is. And they'll continue to work that and try to get that completely cleared. But for now, we're showing one lane blocked. And as far as our drive times go, just have to slow it down a little bit this morning because of the road conditions, but we're still getting there. From Nicholasville, about 13 minutes. From Georgetown, about 16. Winchester looking at 21, and Richmond, 31 minutes across the Clays Ferry Bridge. Now back to you in the studio.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that situation over there at Legion Drive this morning. Thank you, Don. It is 6:11 on WKYT this morning. Hey, good morning to you. Glad you're along with us.
Yeah, there are some new developments about that Russian airliner that crashed in Egypt.
We'll have that for you. And McDonald's is doing away with its dollar menu. What it's rolling out in its place, that story coming up in about 8 minutes or so here on WKYT.